Welcome back, everyone, to the Rocky Students Podcast. Today's a little bit different. Today we have some dads on the podcast. So for all you dads or guardians out there, this episode is for you. So if you're usually a student who jump in, send this to your dad because we want to have them jump in and watch with us. A couple things that I just want to mention. I have some amazing dads on today. Doesn't mean they have it all figured out. It means they've messed up a lot. And those are some things that we want to talk about today. In the description below, there is going to be a resource for you to go check out the Dad Edge podcast. They release episodes about once every week. And we just want to have a landing spot for you if this episode is helpful to you. This is our first one, and I don't know how much we're going to continue it on, but we want to give you all a place. If you want to become more intentional with being a dad, we want to give you a spot where you can land. So with that said, I am joined by some of my favorite. When we were brainstorming with some people, and I was like, who do we need to have on this podcast? And these three names were mentioned. So with us is Ben Foote, Dill, and Dee Rohrbough. Welcome to the podcast, guys. I'm glad you guys are here.
Thanks, Ben.
I want to jump in right away. Well, how about this? Just give us like one or two sentences about yourself so people know who you are, and then I'm going to jump in with this question of when did you realize being a dad was way harder than you expected? But for now, just give us a little intro to who you guys are.
My name is Ben Foote. I am a pastor. I've got 3 kids, girl, boy, girl, Emery, Micah, Chloe, ages 12, 11, and 8.
You passed the test.
Thank you.
As well done.
Don't ask grades.
My name is Joel. Let's see, I've got 3 kids. I'm going to try to do the same way. Boy, girl. Nolan is 13. Trevor is going to be 11 really soon. Elise is 9.
All right. I'm Dee Rohrbough. I have 5 kids. Lacey, my oldest, will be 40 this year. Sorry, Lacey. And Ty is, he's 38, I believe. Yeah. Dallas, she is 34. Cherokee, I think you are 30. And Chloe's 27. So, yeah, I've definitely got the older children.
There you go. And
I've got grandkids.
how many grandkids?
Going on 12.
There we go.
Nice,
Yeah,
that's
that's
awesome.
what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I have 3, 6, 4, and
Not
1.
great.
Great
Not
kids?
No grandkids.
Okay.
No,
Kids.
not yet.
Just kids, And also, Dee, thanks for joining the Hat Club.
Oh, yeah,
We all
yeah.
rolled in today. And
I'm
Dee
like,
did
if
not
they're
have
wearing
one.
hats, I'm going to get the
Yeah,
hat.
got to. How old are yours?
You got it. 6, 4, and 1.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a party.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a party. But I would love to know, when did you realize being a dad was way harder than you expected? My initial was like the moment I was trying to change a tar diaper in the hospital. I was like, what am I doing? But that's not the full real one.
I keep thinking back to Josie was in labor with Nolan. So we didn't even have kids. And I was supposed to go home and get the whole thing was chaotic, and we weren't ready to have Nolan when he was ready to be born. So I had to go back to the house, get all the stuff that the whole get ready to go to the hospital bag. We did not have that with us.
Yeah, nice.
And I remember sitting there waiting for the elevator, and I was like, what are we, holy cow, what are we doing right now?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think from then on it's just been much harder than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
There's like a couple levels of hard. So there's the one level where it's just your whole life changes and your schedule's crazy and there's a whole other person that's dependent on you, and that's day one. But I feel like it didn't feel really, truly, genuinely hard until they got a little older, and they start having personalities and they start defying you, and they start just making decisions where you're like, dude, where's your head? That it got hard on a spiritual, emotional level. It's hard from day one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say older for sure. I love the baby stage, the little kid stage. For me, it was actually probably high school and into college, because then you're thinking, did they hear
This
anything?
is not good for us.
Did they hear anything?
The worst is yet to come.
That's what I just heard.
Did they hear anything I said all those
Yeah.
years?
Yeah.
It's like gone. You're like, who is this person?
Yeah.
That's when it was the toughest for me. I guess maybe losing that control. a little bit. Maybe it's a good thing, but they got to go do it.
I know it gets said a lot. It doesn't get easier; it just changes.
Yeah.
Right, and I feel that every stage
Yeah,
is
that's so true.
right. There's a never gets easier; it just changes.
Before, I think when we first found out we were pregnant, I told my wife, I was like, man, I wonder what it's gonna be like to be like an empty nester. And she's like, we haven't even had a kid yet. Why are we talking about this? And I'm like,
It's amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, I know, right?
Sounds great.
I was just gonna say the same thing. I'm like, I say that all the time. I don't see anything wrong with that, Mac.
Yeah. Well, I actually saw this the other day. I'm gonna butcher it. There was a dad who was comparing the current dad life to a post-dad life, and it's a dad sitting in front of a kid on a toilet being like, is this all my life is now? And that fast forward to when he's 80 and was like sitting by himself, and he's like, I miss the moments where I got to actually develop and train my kid, or like, my house is so crazy, I'm tired all the time. And then the old guy's like, I'm bored all the time. I miss my family. So it was really interesting, just that dynamic. I want to jump kind of right into, Joel, you mentioned this at one point in time of just like, man, there's a lot of things out there that I think dads feel very alone in. And this question is kind of somewhat to talk to that area of our lives. And it's, what are your largest failures or struggles that you've learned specifically to being a dad? I think this is a realm where often we feel like I'm the only one who's dropped the ball here, or maybe there's a couple people that I know of, but this just feels way too difficult, way too challenging. I got to keep this to myself because no one else understands what I'm going through. So I think that's a little bit of what I would love to kind of speak to and chat about here. So I don't know if anything jumps to mind for you guys.
Well, I think like in today's society where the social media culture reigns, and it's just easy to compare. So it's just easy to find any example of what you would consider to be a better dad than what you're currently being. That it's easy to feel like you're just screwing up all the time. So I think like I don't think of any one moment because there's thousands of moments even just today that I'm like, oh, I wish I would have done that better. But like it's just easy. I feel sometimes like, and I think actually Dee, you've helped with this a lot where you've just been really honest about how being a dad has been for you.
Yeah.
That I'm like, oh yeah, okay, well that kind of gives me some hope because I mean I see the way that these kids all love and care about and want to be a part of your life, and I'm like, well, okay, I'm all right. So but like some things that I've done that like I wish, like there's been a lot of things where I don't feel like you get prepared enough for the transition out of they depend on you fully to they kind of want to do their own thing, and then they're gonna, like you were just saying, Ben, where they press all the boundaries, but then you still have to like be a support to them. And I think I was just saying to Josie recently, I'm like, nobody prepares you for like them being a raging to them, and then you have to immediately still be there for emotional support, and you're like, I don't even want to be around you right now, but then like they're like, hey, do you want to talk about this? And I'm like, I don't want to hear your voice.
Yeah.
But like you have to, those whiplash things, you still have to be there. I don't handle those very well all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Thanks for sharing. That's good.
For me, at least, I think it's exposed my weaknesses or magnified them. Like everything that I was already weak at just feels like 10 times bigger as a dad. So, like selfishness, I'm selfish. I don't think I ever would have described myself as selfish before kids, and then I have kids, and it's like, I just want to do my own thing right now.
Yeah.
Anger is a big one with me. Just like, I'm always at low-key boiling for some reason. And I'm trying to work on it. But like the way that it'll explode in situations with my kids where it's like I can in the moment be like, you're being a bad dad right now. I mean, those are two huge ones I'm constantly working on, just to be real. I think there's another aspect of parenting. Maybe I'm alone. I could be alone in this.
I doubt it.
I feel like there's a ton of intentionality that comes with being a father. I'm also winging it all the time. And sometimes I get the idea, like social media, of course, is a number one culprit here. I get this from other pastors a lot. Like the vibe is like, oh, we got to figure it out. And we kind of know what we're doing. And we've got a 10-step plan. And I studied Romans with my 4-year-old this morning. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
I'm out here just trying to survive every day, just making sure they have what they need in their backpack.
Yep.
And those times seem like they just go on forever. Like, this is my life. It's never going to change.
Certainly
right?
feels that way now.
I can remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't mean to cut you off. But
no,
if you're,
I'm basically here to learn from you. I'm like, please speak, Dee.
I thought everybody else must have said no, is why I'm here. I'm like, why? What, is this about being the worst dad?
Yeah, you're about 45th on the list.
I figured.
Raked through a lot of names.
You know, and what's crazy is like now, and Joel, you mentioned it, like my kids, actually, all my kids talk to me. And that doesn't seem like much, but then you hear of situations that isn't how it is. And there were definitely times that we didn't. I mean, it was bad. And when that comes back around, it's pretty sweet. Yeah,
that's good. I was curious about real quick with your question, because you're like, man, I feel like I'm winging it most of the time. I'm gonna put your dad on the spot for a second. Did you feel like you had a good example or a mixed bag that you're like, man, there's a lot of things I learned that I don't want to do? Just curious, because I think there's some people out there who are like, I'm winging it because I never even had a dad, and they just don't know.
No, no one's perfect, of course. No, no one escapes home without some pretty serious wounds.
Yep.
But I can't complain, dude. He's a great dad.
Yeah.
Still is a great dad.
Yeah.
I just think when I say winging it, there's no playbook for it.
Yeah.
And I think that people pretend there is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's like there's more often than not. I'm feeling like, who can tell me what I'm supposed to do in this situation?
Yeah.
And also, nobody tell me what they're going to do.
And also, shut up.
Yeah, because it's not good. It's not going to be good.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you. I think when you were saying winging it, I felt the exact same way. It's like I had a great dad, great example, very present, very intentional, not perfect. I agree with everything you said. But like everything that he did, I can't just duplicate. Like I can't just take what you're doing, Dee, or what you're doing and then just go apply it, because my kids are different, right? Yeah. Like I remember even when we had Trevor, I was expecting that, I mean, this is how ignorant I was expecting him to just be a carbon copy of Nolan, right? So you just should do the same things that I did with Nolan, and then it should work with Trevor, right? Nope, right? Because he's his own human, and he's like completely different from Nolan. So I'm different than my brother, my kids are different than his kids, than your kids, than that person on social media's kids. So there is no playbook. There's no one that can tell you, like, so you're constantly winging it, which I think goes back to what you're talking about. Like, it feels like you're alone so much. And so I don't think there's enough, like, real talk. I think you can find an expert everywhere that's going to tell you how to be a dad. But there's not a lot of real talk about, like, man, I just struggle with X. It's like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. You know what I mean? Like, because we all just feel like we're winging it.
Yeah. Did you have something else that you would add on, or did you feel like those years where
he didn't mess up,
kids weren't connected? Yeah.
Well, thinking about this question about the dad, I grew up on a farm and ranch, and it was all about work, no play, and I tended to be like my dad in those times when things were tough. Amanda kind of took over the parenting more, and I just worked more because that was kind of a place I could go, because it was kind of like, I don't want to deal with this, so I'm just going to work more.
Yeah.
And realizing that, and then going, hey, that's not the answer just because that's what you know and grew up with. It's the time you spend with them. It really is. I'm learning that, especially now and with grandkids. That's all they want.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's good. That's really good.
yeah.
What's interesting, I mean, I think just who I'm wired is I love my peace, and so when my kids are loud, for me, my checkout of like, I just need to sit on my phone for a second and tune out everything because this is chaos. Or again, back to your, I'm a lot more selfish than I thought I was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, where's my time? So I appreciate you guys sharing. I sent out a couple of these questions, and so we'll see if any of these kind of stick. Is there, I think what's really helpful, we want to be clear that we don't have it all figured out. I think we're all dads who are trying things. And I think there's just, what I always love is I'm a big practical guy. And so I'm just curious, shifting gears completely, is there something right now that you're practically doing that you are excited about?
You're asking for the playbook?
No.
Run this one, dude.
Yeah. And here's the deal. My mind just, I don't know, whether it's sports, whatever, I would watch what a player would do and be like, all right, what's going to fit my game?
Yeah.
So that's the lens, if you're listening to this, that I would encourage you to do. Like, you already said it. My kid's different than this kid.
Yeah.
So I think, like, sometimes when you say, this is what I'm doing with my kids, it just gets my brain going into like, all right, I know my kid's the best. What can I do in my own realm? So what is just something that you're excited about doing right now with your kids? That you would say, this is intentional, this is me, whether it's like time with them is the best, or this is my way of investing in them, or I'm just excited about this practical thing, this playbook, for Joel's words.
For me, and my youngest is 8 now, so I feel like I left a season that you're in right now where it's just so crazy. You're never sleeping, and there's schedule so important and all that stuff. And now I'm in a phase where the thing I'm excited about is like finding my thing with each of my kids. Mike is easy, he's our only boy, and so we can do all the guy stuff, play baseball and play Rocket League together and all that stuff. But then, like, my oldest daughter, she's hilarious and creative and weird like me, and so like we joke around a lot. She's the only one who likes sushi, so we're gonna go on a sushi date, like that kind of stuff. Finding the thing that, like, baseball's my thing with Micah, and then over here is this other thing I got with Em, and this other thing with Chloe. Just to find time where it's just me and them hanging instead of just the crew of 5 and it's madness has been super fun, and has felt more unique to this season of parenting than when they were littler.
Yeah, I'll echo that a little bit. One thing, it's like talking about the stage and everything, I've been thinking a lot about, like, I've kind of broken down your kid's life at home into kind of 3 stages. There's dependence, exploration, and independence. And that it's kind of in 6-year increments. That first plus or minus 6 years, it's like fully dependent, it's exhausting. The next 6 years, it's exploration and it's exhausting. And then I'm kind of moving more into the independence where they're trying to find their own stuff, testing the boundaries that you put out there and all that, like you were talking about. And I'm sure that's going to be exhausting too. But thinking about, like, moving into finding things with them, like I've been, when I was a kid, on Saturday and Sunday mornings, Dad would wake us up, and I don't even remember how it started. It might have actually been out of some selfishness because he wanted coffee, and so we would go and drive down to Maverick, and he'd get coffee, and we'd get, whatever we wanted, juice or milk or Gatorade or what, and then we'd go drive around town, in this little town in Wyoming, and we'd drive around for, some mornings it was hour and a half. We'd end up halfway out. We'd end up in the middle of nowhere, just driving. And sometimes we'd be talking the whole time, sometimes we'd just be totally silent. And I remember that, and it was like so formational. So I've tried to start those kind of things. So, like, I'll do breakfast with each of the kids once a week. Some mornings, dead quiet. Like, you're just sitting there, especially with my oldest, with Nolan. He's just on his phone, looking at some baseball stat. Nothing really there. Some days, like, just the floodgates open, right? And they just talking about everything, It's been fun just to try to, like, just to be present, a little bit more intentional, more one-on-one with someone who's, like I said, they're kind of like they're exploring. They're kind of figuring out, hey, what do I like? Where do I want to be?
Yeah.
And so that's been like really big for me right now. The other thing, this is more recent. I stupidly volunteered to be an assistant baseball coach. Got zero business doing that for my oldest. And at first he was like, I don't think I like this. But he's like, oh, actually this isn't too bad. And it's been kind of this cool little moment a couple times a week where it's like I'm coach for a couple hours, and then we're driving home and I'm dad. And like that's tough for me sometimes to break out, like Dee knows this, to come out of like coach mode and to just
I've coached
be dad.
with him. It's crazy.
It's a little
I got
intense.
kicked out of the gym.
Yeah. Well, then we were together and we were about both to get kicked out of the gym. Yeah. So like it's been fun to just kind of like explore that, where it's like, hey, I get to like pour in and try to form and you know, build something that he's a part of and deeply involved in and cares a lot about. But then I also get to like then step out and be dad.
Yeah.
And so that's been kind of fun, and I hope there's some more opportunities like that with the other two.
Yeah.
I'm sure there will be. Yeah.
I think I was fortunate. My kids, when they were little, with my career allowed that I could be home in the morning for a while, not be out early. And so I always made breakfast. And that was our time. Amanda would be getting ready for work. That gave her time to do that. And that was a cool time. I mean, stuff comes out of their mouth. You're like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that spending that time together.
I think there's something too about the consistency. I think that's
they
kind of
knew
what
I
you're
was
saying.
going to be
That's
making
right.
breakfast, and they come down and.
So the
yeah.
first few times they're going to be like,
Yeah.
why are we, like for taking the kids to breakfast, they're like, why? Like, why are you doing this, right?
And then something that's happened later in life then too is my older kids will say, one time you said this. And I'm like, I don't remember saying that. So I guess I would tell you guys, if it's on your mind, say it. It's probably right. And they remember those things. It's kind of freaky, actually. They're like, okay, I think that might have been God telling me to say that, because
Yeah.
they remembered that for a reason, and it makes you kind of feel like, oh, okay, maybe I didn't screw this up, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's just spending time with my adult kids, even on a phone call, or like this year was the first year we just took a trip as a family for Christmas instead of Christmas gifts, and everybody loved that. Nobody missed,
Yeah.
Legos
gifts
or
and-
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the grandkids. So it was highly advised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. There's something that in the midst of this conversation that I felt like should be addressed is I think there's a lot of dads out there who maybe are like, well, I didn't do this for the first 10 years.
Oh,
it's too late now.
Yeah, it's never too late.
And I think, I just want to encourage you if you're listening, like, with the students I work with, many of them are just waiting for you to take that next step. And so I think you have to push back past the barrier that you have of yourself of like, I got to admit that what I was doing maybe wasn't working, and now I got to try something new.
Hey, also on that, it's not too late to stop doing
Absolutely.
something. Like so like you don't have, just because you like started cooking breakfast every morning, you don't have to just do that forever and ever, amen, right? Like you can shift off to, I think I feel it's very important to read where your kids are at, right? We're like, what do they need in that moment? Not what do you think they need, or what did they need in the last moment? Because that's another thing that I think trips up is like, this is what I do, and you're like, yeah, but they don't want that anymore. Like that doesn't speak to them. So like, it's okay to stop too.
Yeah.
Yeah, when does your kid feel comfortable saying this is what I actually need?
Yeah.
And you're like okay with it, because you do feel like you're always having to be the one
Yes. Yeah.
providing the direction.
Yeah. And maybe I've taken Mac to a coffee shop where they have Legos. That might be a weird thing to keep doing when he's 30 years old.
You never know.
You never know. But I might be like, we should have stopped this.
There's a Lego store that we went to, and there was a lot of 30-year-old dudes that were digging through all those.
That does not
I don't
surprise
know.
me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
I'm not bashing on Legos. Listen, I'm all for different hobbies that aren't golf, as we get older. So
don't.
I know
The
there's some
G
golf
word.
people here.
Come on.
We're gonna just jump around. I love the conversation we're having, but I want to change gears yet again and just jump into the faith side of things. I think there's some dads out there who are listening that are like, I don't always understand the connection of faith when it comes to my being a dad, and there's some who are like, it's foundational. So I just want to speak more to that, but what would you say has, like, how has faith played a role in being a dad?
Well, we drug our kids to church, and literally, like one of our daughters, Dallas, you know who you are, she would actually leave marks on the outside of the door. I mean, we were shoving this child in there. Yeah, she's mad and letting us out. But just when that comes back around and they leave, they don't all leave, but they normally leave that. Mm-hmm. And then when they come back, and like my kids are mostly all going to church again and have their own faith, God, that's so amazing to see.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it had a huge part of I think the reason going back to that my kids actually talk to me.
Yeah.
It goes back to that.
What about, I love the role of faith that it played in your kids' life, but did you feel like for you personally there were some things that pushed you further because of faith, or got you questioning things that you once were doing?
Oh, absolutely.
What would you...
Yeah, because I became a Christian late in life. Like,
yeah.
I was 35.
Okay.
So, and I, 3 of my kids from my first marriage. Mm-hmm. So I did that pretty wrong.
Yeah.
The whole, I think everybody would agree with that. But having that chance to redeem myself,
yeah,
because of faith, that's what,
yeah,
I'm all about.
Yeah, that's sweet.
I really love. I think where faith plays a heavy role for me in parenting is with principled living. I'd call it, right. Like when I want to explain or really drive home like why we do things a certain way, or why I'm asking you to act a certain way, or anything along those lines. It's so often that something with faith and with the relationship with Jesus that I have is I'm able to relate that, right? Like whether it's a story from the Bible or something that Jesus said, or just a concept that is part of our life and the way that we live. It's like there's a connection to that I think is so easy, and then because they're exposed to it on a regular basis, like they can relate to it a little bit closer too, right? So it's like, oh yeah, I heard that, or I saw that, or I learned that. So there's kind of some like completeness to that where I think it all pulls together.
That's good.
Well, on the one hand, faith, I don't know how to be a dad without it. Just from the standpoint of, I truly believe that being a Jesus follower is becoming more like him. And that's it. It's way less a list of like rules and things you have to do and things you have to stop doing, and that's involved, but it's really just like, are you becoming more like your king? So on the one hand, it's like I don't even know what it means to be a dad without that. Like it's constantly in my mind of like, what does it look like to show grace right now? At what point do I hold you accountable? And then at what point do I show you mercy? Like all this stuff is always in my brain. On the other hand, I feel like honestly I suck at it. I've got no problem getting up in front of 1,000 people and teaching about Jesus. When it comes to how that plays out in my family, I flounder a lot. A big part of my story was being raised in like cultural Christianity, like all the VBSs and all the VeggieTales and all that stuff, and I'm in that church building 4 times a week, and I had birthday parties in there. I had to sit around while my dad's doing an elder meeting, and being so wrapped up in what I now realize to be a pretty superficial version of faith. And I had so much unpacking to do from that, and like baggage to let go from that. It was a ton of work, and it's almost like I don't want to create that for my kids so much that I swing too far on the other side of the pendulum pretty often. Yeah. I know that like as a pastor, I'm supposed to be the guy who's, I don't know, having a Bible study with my kids every morning. I'm not.
Mm-hmm. Romans 4, I thought you said.
Is it right? That's what you said. Is that your favorite? Yeah, I don't know. So there's one part, yeah. On the one hand, I don't know how to be a person without it, and that includes being a dad. On the other hand, it's like I feel like I'm kind of. It's a conversation my wife Allie and I have a lot of like, how do we do this better? Mm-hmm. How do we have faith play a more external role in our kids' lives more than just we go to church on Sundays.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
That was a really good answer.
It was great.
Yeah.
These are all
Can you
good.
could you clip that out and just play it right
Yeah,
again?
we'll clip it.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying you play it
Just
multiple
cut it
times.
out.
Just no. I'm
I'm
saying
never gonna teach you
I would
again.
just loop it in. I just loop it in.
It's right here.
Just
It's
drop
blocking
it,
me
just-
as we go.
Just drop it in every once in a while. That was really good.
Dee, if you don't mind, I would love to, if you're willing, just to dive in a little bit to the differences of Dee, dad of 3, not faith in the mix.
Yeah.
Dee, dad of 2, with faith in the mix.
Yeah.
What, could you maybe talk about what were some things you saw here that you didn't like, that you feel like faith changed of how you parented differently here?
Yeah, I mean, the mind changes, right? Everything
Yep.
changes. So, talk about people not recognizing you, and especially people from back home going, "Who is this?" You know, that's not who we
Yeah.
remember. Yeah.
What did they
When I'm listening
remember?
to Ben saying, "I can't imagine not having faith in raising kids," I'm like, "You don't want to imagine. You don't want to imagine."
Huh?
What was your question?
What when you say they don't recognize you? What?
Well,
do
I mean,
they
even
remember
I
about you?
had my business going up here, and when I became a Christian, and even my clients were like, something's different.
Mm-hmm.
It was that big of a change, and I think it was something that, I was raised going to church. I just didn't have that relationship. It was a church that you just went. It was a history lesson, and nobody wanted to be there. That whole thing. So God was working on me the whole time. And knowing that I wasn't doing what I should be doing, and knowing that I needed to give my life to Him, I always tell this story. When we were kids, my parents would drop us off at this lady's house to babysit us when they went to choir practice. And I swear, I don't know how it happened, but every time we were there, Billy Graham was on TV. And she was a Christian lady. And we had to lay on the floor and watch Billy Graham. And so this looked very different than my church. And I kept thinking, what is this relationship with Christ? And so God started this way back, and I was just stubborn. And I was doing things the way I wanted to do it. And it ended in a bad marriage and a divorce. Then, like I said, all of a sudden, you make that decision. God is just still working on you, like, you need to follow me. You need to follow me. And finally you do it. And it's a huge relief, and there's regret, but there's redemption, and so it sounds corny, but it just changed my life so much that I became a better parent to all of the kids. And what's amazing too, and I know this is God, is all of the kids get along. They're not full brother and sister, and they love each other dearly. And somehow God gave me this wife that loves them all the same, which is crazy to me, because that doesn't happen very often. So, didn't know we were jumping into this, but this is deep.
Do you feel like Dallas and Lacey and Ty saw the difference too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had to have been a shocker.
It was
for them.
drastic. Yeah.
All of a sudden,
Yeah.
Dad's dragging us to church.
Yeah.
And so, but like I said, 2 of them, Lacey and Dallas, come here to church, and I've even had some of my grandkids in Sunday school over there.
Yeah.
When I help in 4th and 5th grade.
Yeah.
So I just have to stop it. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
How did we get here? So
That's good. I appreciate you sharing.
Yeah.
I just wanted to dive into that because I know there are some people that will be listening that
they're in
are
that
kind of
situation right now, probably.
Yeah, the life that they, I would say, it sounds to me like your story before was, man, my job, making money, pursuing success. That's what I've heard so far.
Well,
Maybe
that was kind of
different.
more, that was part of my life here, though,
Okay.
too. There, it was more of a survival mode, and it was alcohol and anything to numb the thing,
Yeah. And then you would say reverse, and that was like, instead of numbing out with those things, I
Then
was
it was-
like, I'm praying or saying whatever I need in my prayer life or okay. That's super helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing.
Yeah.
It's good. This is a little bit, we've kind of talked a little bit about this, but I think this is a little bit more personal to what is something that you have done for yourself. The question is this, what's one habit or decision that changed your family the most? And I feel like, again, if I'm watching this, what I want to know is like, what personal habit did you commit to that you think possibly made you a better dad or husband because of this one thing? And I think if the answer is faith, then I personally gonna go back to a playbook that I'll run through my system of things. What about faith? What was the practicality of how that played out? Because if it's pray more, then I want to know, well, how many times, like, what was your prayer thought through it? So I'm looking for a little bit more of the third level down type answer. Like, I know how to swing a bat now. Now I want you to tell me how to hit a strike, a curveball, that type of deal. So I don't know if there's a habit that you right now would say, this has worked well for me. Again, there's a lot of things that we could still improve on, but I would love just to know what is something that you feel like has impacted your family because of the decision you made personally. I didn't put this one in the questions, by the way.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there were questions. I'm bad at reading emails. Man, I wish I could read that. No, it's probably better that I didn't.
Yeah.
I depending on the day of the week, I'll be a hypocrite with this answer because we go through seasons where we're really good at this and seasons where we're not.
Yep.
And we at least always get back to a place where we're like, we have to do this again. And that for us is like super, super careful with our screens. And it sounds so like non-spiritual, but that has had a greater impact on our family than almost anything else. Like when we limit our screens as parents and then also our screens as for the kids, like you get 30 minutes to play Rocket League and then we're done. You can watch one episode of Gilmore Girls and then you're done. And it just we have in our pockets, I'll try not to rant because this is something I could rant about, but we have in our pockets like endless things to do on our phones that are way more at first glance way more exciting than hanging out with your family, and the second that you force yourself to, like, for seasons we'll even put our phones on a specific part of our, like, in our kitchen, and it's like we don't even touch them. Like, we can check them once an hour for an emergency and that's it. And it suddenly opens up all this space to go, like, how are we gonna fill all this time? And that's when you suddenly are like, let's just go on a walk. And that's when we find ourselves engaging in quality time, because it's so easy for me, at least as a dad, to be like, I'm tired. I travel a lot, so that's tiring. And then if I'm not traveling on a weekend, it's like, dude, just play video games so that I can, like, sit and read a book. That's what I want to do. It's so tempting to just kind of let those things babysit my kids. So just practically speaking, like, we have some rules around screens that are so awesome.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks.
We definitely go.
Also prayer.
The answer.
Also, I pray five times a day.
Yes, in front of my children.
Ben will put his answer in the comments below of how he prays.
Pray at breakfast and on the way to school and when I pick them up.
God.
Just a side note, this on the way to school reminded me. With Cherokee and Chloe especially, I would sense them just feeling anxious in the morning, and I would give them this screen time. Not screen.
Screen.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
So I said, you can scream from here to here. And they took me up on it every time.
Like on a stretch of the drive?
Uh-huh.
That's
And
awesome.
as loud as they
might
could.
use that.
Yeah. And it just kind of
That's good.
relaxed them. I don't know that my wife is going to love that. I told her she hated that. She would never do that.
Amanda, that was really good advice.
I think to this day they would say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Josie if she can start letting me
Yeah.
have screen time. 9
We all
a.m.
need
to
some
10
screen
a.m.
time.
Yeah, that's right.
There is a reason.
Yeah, I don't need just like a half mile of road. I need like an hour.
Give me an
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
I would say something that I've done personally that I think has set me up. I'm still not. I'm just not good at this whole thing. But I think it sets me up better for the day as I get up early, way before everybody else, and I kind of have my own time. And I use that for devotion and stupid stuff that I just want to do. It's kind of that selfish, like, hey, if I want to read, I can. If I want to do some work, I can. If I want to, do Duolingo or scroll Instagram, I can. I use that time for myself, and then I think, and this is where I want to get better, but I do think it sets me up better to, like, when they're awake and ready for the day, I'm a little more ready to like be present with them and for what they need, rather than I'm trying to do all this stuff and check, well, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. At the same time, they're asking me to help them get breakfast ready or get ready for school, and I'm, then I get, annoyed.
What time do you wake up? Because we do a Devo with the Dills. We've done it for how many years now? Has this been going on?
4
years,
yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
I can't beat him to it. I mean, he's just up it. So I do admire that. I wish I was more like that. I think being on empty nest, I don't feel the need to get up.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, you enjoy it, man. Enjoy. I get up at 5 is when, So, and sometimes it's earlier than that. Sometimes I lay there in bed for a little while, but more or less 5. Yeah.
Upvote.
You
That
like
one's
that?
that one's also.
That's what I should have done. Upvote. I should have upvoted what you say. Yeah. Hey, this would be another time to drop that clip of Ben's answer.
Excuse me, I'm old. What's upvote?
I honestly barely know. I think it just means I
it's
like
just
that.
Yeah.
It's a Reddit.
That's what it says.
It's a Reddit term where you can bump that comment.
Okay, well,
that is exactly what I thought.
That's what I saw. Okay.
Upvote.
So my answer wasn't the screen thing. My answer was actually what Ben was saying, going through those seasons. When we go through seasons of not being, this sounds really churchy, but in a group, and like just being around people, and in a men's group. Now I'm in a men's group and we're in a couples group, and we do this Devo. So it's a good season, but sometimes we just stop doing it, and it has an effect on everything. I think it's just that needing that those relationships and.
I agree with you on that. I think like modeling community at any level or on different levels, like you're talking about. I think that when they see that, like I see that with my kids, I think that there's a big impact there.
Yeah.
We were talking about this offline before you guys got here, just about many dads feel like they've got a lone wolf life take on being a dad and all the problems that come with whether it's your job or parenting or marriage. You just touched on this a little bit, how important groups are. I'm curious about, if I was to say, hey, everything hits the fan one day, where are you running outside of your family and faith? I think there's just like, what's that support group look like for you? I think there's people out there who are listening that are like, man, I got those people, but I haven't been leveraging those relationships the way that I probably should to be the best dad and husband that I could. Who might be that for you in those seasons?
Yeah, I think I was mentioning that this morning when we were chatting, that there's a couple of guys that, were kind of in that rodeo world that I was in, and we were roping and doing all that stuff together. And those relationships stuck for some reason, and I just got off the phone with one of them this morning. And I don't know if it's our age or what it is, but you just kind of let the guard down and you just puke it out. And you tell them all the things that are going on in your family, in your life, and you feel safe. I feel fortunate to have those guys that I can go to if things really get bad.
Yeah, that's great. You guys have another avenue, or maybe there's a different take that you didn't mention?
I was just gonna say, like, I think about this a lot in rings. Jesus modeled it, right? He had 3, and then he had 12, and then he had many disciples, right? And I think about things similarly, where it's like, hey, I want 2 or 3, just guys I know I can call at 2 a.m. with any issue that I've got, and I know they're gonna be there, and I know they're gonna come and help, whatever my need is. And then I think it's important too to have just a little bit bigger group of community that, probably still could call them at 2 a.m. But they're there. I'm working to build relationship. But it's like, talk about it. I think Dee, you and I have talked about, like, there's people I will move things in my calendar to make time with, and there's people that I regularly schedule into my calendar, right? And then there's others that it's like, yeah, if I can get you there, that's great, right? But I think it's really important, if you're not leveraging that community, I think it's super important to have even just those couple people that you can let down your guard with. Like, that's huge. And I think then the next layer of that is like learning from each other, being vulnerable enough and willing to hear, like, oh man, I hadn't thought about that way.
Yeah.
Or even just being willing to share something that you've learned, and hopefully that they can grow with you. And iron sharpens iron. There's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
And I think you have to leverage, especially as a dad. I don't see how you couldn't.
Yeah. In one of those recent Dad Edge episodes, they're interviewing someone, and he says this line where he says, your mind is like that bad street, don't go there alone. And I think this concept was, there's obviously times where we'll be sitting with our own thoughts, our own mind and experiences, but how are we bringing Jesus into those spaces? How are we bringing other men into those spaces, our spouses? It was just one of those, like, it's time to surround yourself with people, because if you just try to live your mind by yourself constantly, it doesn't go well. And that's a lot from his recovery of addiction or coping with things the way he shouldn't. So I don't know if you have anything else to think. I think for mine, one area I jumped to was for about 4 years I had a life coach that we would meet with once a month, and it was just a 3-hour time just to really jump in and be like, here's I need some other angles, or I need to vent to someone. I need just your 10 cents from a different outside view of how I'm handling and navigating some of these things. So for me, that was groups have become, I did them for 20 years, Christian school kid, church kid, all that. And I've hit a point in time where I appreciate groups and what they've been in my life. Right now, I just need a one-on-one conversation with people in my life. And so that's where my time has gone. And nothing against groups, I think they're great. But I think for me, having how I'm wired, that's what I need, is my kind of one-on-one coaching moments, or counselor, for lack of better words. Yeah. So anything else that you would add?
Not without being redundant.
Yeah. No, that's great.
You're looking for, like, more Solomons in your life.
Yeah, he's specifically.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you haven't watched our most recent video, we asked students what do they love about their parents, and they also asked us questions. And someone said, all right, if you could chat with anyone in the Bible, who would it be? And I said Solomon, because he was very wise.
McDonald.
And I want the playbook.
He wants to.
Why not ask from the wisest guy there?
All right. That's good. It's good.
Yeah, you can talk trash to me more after we get going this.
I might just continue in the middle of this
How about
episode. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what's stopping me?
How about now? Let me see. This was one that is just interesting to me. If you could tell yourself 15 years ago a bit of advice or something to change to set you up to be the best dad, what would it be? I love kind of what do I take what I learned, say it to someone else, and probably someone like me will get the benefit the most, because I got younger kids right now. So I'm wondering, what are things I can put in place now that'll help me when my kids are 12 and 13, when my kids are in high school, when my kids start having kids. So I'm sitting here being like, I'm watching and learning. But yeah,
This might be more, like, specific to me and my personality, but I wish I would have learned and I'm still, like, relax. I would have said, hey, relax.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Why?
I think you just get wound up. Like, you get frustrated by the way they're acting, or they're not listening, or name it. It's not going how you were wanting it to, and you feel like you've missed this opportunity, you missed that moment. It's like easy to just get really caught up. Again, I think social media doesn't help this, right? Because then you go and you're scrolling and you're looking at these, people who are putting their best face out, and then you're like, oh, I'm not that cool. I'm not doing that. I wish I would have just, like, relax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that for sure would be. I want to tell myself that now.
I tell myself this all the time.
Yeah.
Like, relax.
I think
Nobody's
that
dying.
it's easy to just get lost like in what's happening right now.
Yeah.
So what's
Yeah.
right in front of your face, and then I don't know. We had our small group on Monday, and we were talking through how we all just feel like we're blowing it as parents. And then one of these guys, he's a police officer, and he was like, "Hey." He's like, I get that we're all trying to do a good job. He's like, you should also just like take a couple steps back and look at the bigger picture. He's like, I arrest terrible dads all day long. He's like, you're not that. And he's like, he encouraged us to like, it's not an excuse to take your foot off the gas, but to just every now and then take a step back and go like, hey, I've got 3 beautiful kids who are doing all right.
Yeah.
And I'm not a perfect dad, but I'm not the worst dad. And just chill.
I'm showing up. I'm trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the other day, I was our son Micah struggles with owning anything. Just taking responsibility for his actions.
Is he in the middle?
He's in the middle.
Yeah. Okay. I got
Same?
one of those.
Same as
yeah, I
you?
got one of those.
Yeah, he just won't apologize. You did this. Well, it's like no. He's arguing. He should be a lawyer. And so I'm talking with him, and I looked at him. I was like, dude, He's like. I told him, like, I don't expect you to be perfect. But I do expect you to apologize when you've messed up. But then when I said to him, I don't expect you to be perfect, I saw on his face, he was like, but yeah, you do. And it was like, like, how do I move forward in such a way that teaches my children? Like, yeah, you're responsible for the way you behave, and there's a way to live in this house, but like I also don't expect you to bat 1,000. I could just see on his face is like, oh, that's news to me. I thought I was supposed to be perfect.
Yeah.
That's like one of many streams that branch out of this river of just chill out, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't burn the house down,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
chill.
That's good. While you were sharing that, I think there's a level, and I'm looking at how I'm wired. I got most improved all 4 years of high school basketball. Even when I made the all-state team, they still like most improved from beginning of the season till the end.
Started rough.
It was bad. And I bring that because I think there's a level too where I have the tendency to always look at where am I falling short in being a dad or a husband, and it feels weird to sometimes look at, oh, let me be the dad who's going to build the statistic of a dad who makes breakfast for them, or a dad who's there was a statistic where it was like millennial dads change something like. The boomer dads changed 50% of dads changed diapers. Millennial dads were up to 90% changed diapers. I think there's a level too where like let's sometimes acknowledge the ways that we're trying to step up as a collective community, and sometimes also be like, all right, I'm proud of the way that you know what? If I run statistics in my head, how many dads are getting up at 5 and doing something intentional to serve their family, to follow Jesus more? I think there's times where it feels weird to sometimes pat ourselves on the back, but I think the same thing that you just said about your son, how can we also do the same for ourselves? Like, we're not batting 1,000, but I want to recognize the things that I'm doing well, keep doing those things, encourage other people when I see them doing well. There's a dad who, he's been coaching his son all the way up until a stage where he's like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I still wanted to be a coach. And I'm just kind of the third coach in line, but I want to be there for my son because that's what I'm committing to. I don't know, there's a time where it's like, how do we also recognize some things that we are doing well?
Yeah.
Because a lot of us will get into fix-it mode or improvement mode. And I think when there's a tendency, when I get into that spot, it's like, man, now I just start getting paralyzed by the weight of all the things that I'm not doing, that I start to miss the things I'm doing well. So for anyone who's out there that, I'm sure there's some playbook out there where like, right, get your journal out and write down 10 things that you're proud of who you are as a dad. And then maybe write down some goals. How do those work together? Like, I'm sure there's something like that. But I just wanted to bring that up as you were talking about. All right, I told my son, yeah, we're not expecting you to be perfect. And many of us feel like we got to show up as the perfect dad. My 4-year-old daughter was screaming at me the other day while I was driving. And it had been a long time, and I just paused, and I was like, hey Ace, I have some feelings right now, and I would really appreciate if you would stop yelling at me. Because I'm not a perfect, strong, I can take everything right now. So that was my little soapbox of just like, yeah, how do we also acknowledge?
I don't know why. I agree with you, and I think it's really hard sometimes to acknowledge some of the things we're doing well, because it feels like there are these really small windows where we can like course correct, right? And then it feels like you miss one of those, and then you start to build something like what you're explaining with Micah, where it's like, oh no, he thinks that I do want him to be perfect. So at some point I've demonstrated, and I've done this with my kids, it's like, oh, I have shown them something, and I'm like, oh crap, when am I going to get the next window to course correct that? And so then it's hard sometimes to be like, yeah, I'm doing so many good things, because I'm like, man, it feels like if I lay off, pat myself on the back, I'll miss the window to course correct something that I've needed to, similar to like, because I've done the same thing where it's like I'll say something to them and they're like, no, you do expect that out of me, and I'm like, oh man. So then I'm trying to find the next moment, because you can't just go like, otherwise it's disingenuous to go in and try to just course correct any time.
Yeah,
you gotta find those small windows. So that's my struggle.
Yeah,
with a lot of times with like accepting that, hey, I am doing some good things, because I'm like, oh man, I feel like if I let off the gas, I'm gonna miss that opportunity. So yeah.
That's great.
I think a lot of it goes back to what Ben was saying, though, that relationship with Jesus, and just if you become more like him, your actions are going to change. And I don't know if it's because we're doing this study right now on the Holy Spirit, but lately, even at my age, I'm like realizing I just stop and say, Holy Spirit, come in, and
help.
My demeanor changes. I smile and I can't stop smiling. I'm like, stop. I mean, you kind of lose control, and I think your demeanor changes to who you're dealing with, whether it's your kids, your spouse.
That's a good one.
And I'm like, we try to do it on our own so much that we forget there is. I sound like a preacher. There's a helper out there. I'm sending you a helper. Use it. And we tend to forget to use the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's there, and he's going to give you the demeanor you need.
I thought you were doing a study on Romans 4, though. That's what I thought you were doing.
Dude, I'll say one other thing. This might sound so cliche. I just remember before M, that's our first, like asking other dads who had kids of all ranges, like, dude, help. Like, what do I need to be doing? And it was like 9 out of 10 of these people would be like, dude, the advice is time goes fast. And I'd like roll my eyes and be like, I need actual help, dude. Like, that's not what I need to hear.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to change a diaper.
Yeah.
And now being 12 years into it, if someone were to come up to me and they're about to have their first kid, the first thing out of my mouth would be like, dude, no one was lying to you.
Yeah.
The reason 9 out of 10 people are talking about it is because it blows your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
true.
just stop
Rushing.
Stop rushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just take don't take any moment for granted.
They always say, especially on the younger side, like the days are long and the years are short. But I mean, I don't think that really changes, because it just continues to fly.
I was trying to find.
When your kids are having kids, it
I
blows your
can't
mind.
imagine.
You're like, I can remember so clearly when you were that age.
Allie's got time hop. Does anyone else do the time hop thing? Do you know what this is?
It's like it goes back and gives you pictures or things from
that day every year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So whatever today, March 20th, or what is it?
19th.
19th. Like her time hop will show every picture she took on March 19th for every year.
Wow.
And I just want to like weep every time.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Torture.
I was trying to find the thing. I can't find it right now. No, that's good. Does anyone else have anything else that you want to add before we kind of close up? This round is fine if you don't. I just don't know. I'm trying to remember if there's any questions or topics that you're like, man, we need to circle back on this. This question didn't get asked.
My only thing would be, and I think that we've talked about this so far, so I don't need to like ramble, but I think that what I'm learning at least is that the bulk of my parenting, the bulk of my relationship with my kids, the bulk of the way my spirituality and faith play out at home is all in the mundane. It's all lives in there and nowhere else. And so, like, yeah, you throw an awesome birthday party, that's cool. Yeah, take them on a killer vacation that you saved up for. That's great. It's good to have those like landmark moments that you can look back on and celebrate. But like, it's happening at the dinner table, and it's happening like when we all sat around and watched American Idol last night. Like, that's when you're building like your whole family. So just, and we've talked around that, but that would be like a number one thing I'm learning that I would encourage other dads with, of like, dude, there's more happening when you throw the ball around with your son, or just sit on the couch and cuddle with your daughter and ask how her day was. Like, that's it. That's where you're being dad.
I think that what I was going to say actually goes really close with this. It's like, keep showing up, because I think like it, like you're saying, in the mundane, it doesn't have to be the big thing, it doesn't have to be the big event, it doesn't have to be anything special. It's just you being there matters way more than you know. And I wish I would have known that more. I wish other guys knew that more, that just being there, it actually means way more than you think.
Yeah, that's good. Dee, any last words?
No, I think they got it. It's time.
Yeah,
Time share.
it's good. It's good. We just did, again, a video where we got to ask students about their parenting. What do they love about their parents? And the answers, I was like, well, these are low-hanging fruit, yet so important. They want time. They're like, well, my parents been gone all day working, I want time with them. I want them to listen to me. And if there's something that they can do because they listen well, let's do that. I love that they give me food and clothes. Like, my parents are always there for me. And the other one, though, was my parents essentially they helped pour into who I was while also giving me the freedom to fail and try things, but they always were there to support me. And those were like the resounding answers we got from the people we called. So I think that's just a little bit of an encouragement of what you said in the mundane, in the time.
That's good.
Last thing I just want to encourage people with, and this is just something that's been on my heart when we went to camp. One of the speakers was talking about, dating, and I think this concept to me feels like helpful guardrails to close up this conversation. He was talking real briefly about like, hey girls, I want you to find a guy who picks up his Bible more than a barbell. And I think the guardrails when it comes to parenting and being dads is there's a level to me where I'm like, man, I want to keep a guardrail if I want to care more about my kid's spiritual life than his athleticism. I want to care more about, again, who he is as a person and his faith than his academic grades. All of it still matters. I'm not saying that's us doing a Bible study every morning, but those are the guardrails that when I watch him on the court or when I watch my daughter with her friends, I'm following back up with just saying like, all right, when I look at the person of Jesus, some of the things that I challenge in my life, here's what I want to try to impart to this person, rather than like, all right, let's try to see how popular we can be. Let's just see how successful you can be as an athlete. I'm like, great, athleticism will come. How are you as a teammate in your loss, in your win, some of those things. So that's just another kind of guardrail thing I want to encourage people watching in. So I really appreciate you guys jumping on today. Thanks for chatting and sharing some of your story and wisdom and failures and all that. We appreciate you. As always, you guys, would love it if you subscribed. If you as a dad appreciate this, we make a lot more of these podcasts for students and interview people who have some sort of platform that they're using for God's purpose and leveraging that. So feel free to share some other episodes. But again, make sure to check out in the link the Dad Edge podcast, which is a great landing point if you want to be an intentional father when it comes to your faith, marriage, and just, again, being the best person that you can be. Super helpful. So as always, we love you guys. Jesus loves you. We will talk to you all later. See ya.
All right.
Thanks, man.
So thank you guys. I actually need a clap, so I'll time that at the very end.
There you go. Nice.
The claps are important. That's how I sync up my audio.